Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. And today I am so thrilled, really and truly thrilled to have the Stone Spirit with me. This is Allison, who has a website called The Stone Spirit. Now, listen, before we get into really cool conversation that we're going to have that you're going to want to stick around for, because among other things, she's going to talk about the consciousness, the energies of 2023. This isn't predictions, but it is sort of energetic weather forecast, which I think is going to be helpful for you to know about. But before we get into that, wait, I want to introduce your dog. What's your dog's name?
His name is Shadow. Yeah.
Shadow. Hi,
Oh,
Shadow. Shadow
yeah.
wants to help out today.
Yeah, he does help quite a bit. There he is.
Yes, I know. I love his eyes. His eyes are amazing. So I'm going to turn it over to Allison. Allison's going to explain to you what she does, which is quite different than anybody else I've personally met. And I've personally had readings with her, and she's a personal friend of mine, and she's amazing. So you can check her out at thestonespirit.com, but let Allison explain to you guys and introduce herself to you guys so you guys can see just what I'm talking about. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you. Wow. I mean, that's big shoes to fill there. Thank you. Yeah, the way I work with stones is very different, and there are people who work with them in an intimate way, the way I do. But most people that you'll find, working with crystals are healers. And crystals were seeded on this planet to do a number of things, to provide tools and to help to heal people and to provide balance. But one of the most interesting things that not a lot of people realize is that crystals also connect. They connect us to other consciousnesses, and that is through frequency. And so one of the odd things about the way I work is that I feel frequency and I can respond to frequency. It's what all of us do. We just don't differentiate between frequencies. I think probably what we want to make sure people know is that crystals are absolutely as alive as you and I are. They're conscious. Everything in our natural world is conscious. Most of us believe that trees are conscious, for example, and that is true. There is an overall crystal consciousness that is a division of source. It's a partition of source. And it is very close to Creator, and Creator asked it to create physical crystals to package the will of the divine in a way that people could use it in physical form. And so we have this overall crystal consciousness, and then we have all of these other crystals that themselves are conscious. And then as the crystal breaks off, or its mind, it is also conscious, and it begins to develop a personality and have its own experiences. So at any given point in time, you can be working with the individual crystal, you could be working with that crystal's consciousness, or you could be working with the overall crystal consciousness.
Holy moly, that just blew my mind.
The crystals are conscious. The individual stone type is conscious. You can think of it like our higher self having a lot of experiences, physical experiences, right? So you have one in 1823 and one in, 2057. Very similar. So the crystal consciousness, you can think of it like an archangel, but it's manifested. So the individual crystals, go back up. The crystal itself has a portfolio of purposes and missions, and that's purposeful, so that crystals can provide tools for us, right? So that's why certain kinds of crystals heal in certain kinds of ways. And then the individual crystal will, when it breaks off and it has its own experiences, it begins to choose from that overall portfolio of missions its own mission, which will always be chosen from that portfolio of the overall stone consciousness. And let me give you an example, because this is kind of weird. So turquoise is healing. All turquoise is healing. And I have two turquoises. You're wearing one now. Yours has a mission as well. So one of my turquoises, when I hold that stone in my hand, it can tell me in my body, show me in my body what might be an issue in yours. So I can tell if your knees hurt, or in your example, I could tell that your hand hurt. The other crystal, the other turquoise necklace, when I hold it in my hand, it connects to the healing energies of the world. It doesn't tell me in my body what might be an issue in yours. It connects to the healing energies of the world and sends them through me to you. So that's two different stones, same stone, completely the same stone, but because they are different stones, they choose to express the healing mission differently.
That
like individuals.
amazing. I love that. So how is there a way for us non-crystal channelers, can we connect with our crystal and say, hey, what are you here to help me with? Or what is your mission?
One would hope. And I have helped people connect to their stones before. A lot of that is just simply wanting to and being open, knowing what your clairs are. I happen to be claircognizant, which I think is the same as feeling frequency. I am also clairvoyant. I'm clairaudient. I'm psychometric. You have some different clairs, so you take in information from the energy field in different ways. But if you wanted to connect with your crystal, you could hold it in your receptive hand. You could settle down and do.
Which one is your receptive hand?
Sorry about that. It's your non-dominant hand. It's the hand that takes in energy.
All right.
Your dominant hand is the one that gives out energy. This is more of a healing.
Okay, so you hold it in your non-dominant hand.
Yeah. If it feels better to hold it in your dominant hand, that's okay. Typically, it's your receptive hand. And then go through a short meditation, collect yourself, focus on your breathing, and then simply sit quietly with the stone and ask it what it wants to tell you. And then observe. You never know what it's going to say. You might see pictures, you might hear words, you might feel feelings in your body. When I first started talking,
sorry, I just put this thing in my left hand and I just lit up like a Christmas tree. Sorry, I'm going to sit it down to the side for a minute. Sorry. I've never done that before.
Yeah. So when I first started talking to rocks, I would ask them what they wanted to say, and they would start showing me pictures, and it took me a little bit to learn that they were showing me where they were mined. I would see pictures of places and animals and specific things, and I would do a little detective work. And I would learn that. Here's an example. I sat down with a piece of pyrite, and I asked it what it wanted to say, and I saw a really fancy high-stepping horse. I heard Paso Fino. I saw a very fancy cowboy, like fancy clothes. And I heard vaquero. And then I saw a finger, and I heard relic. And I was like, okay, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, what does this have to do with anything?
So I researched vaquero. It's the word for cowboy in Spanish. Paso Fino is a naturally gated Spanish breed of horse. And there is a church in Avila, Spain, that has a relic that happens to be a saint's finger bone. And pyrite is mined in Spain. So I have also asked them how they like to work with humans, and I'll see all sorts of pictures, and they'll sort of show you. And sometimes, depending on how clairvoyant you are, clairaudient you are, you might have to do a little bit of detective work. And if you're, really connected to your stone, or you work with it a lot, it might tell you how it likes to work with you.
Nice. That is awesome. So at first, like when I first put this thing in my left hand, which I kind of knew that, but how many times do we know things and then we don't really pay attention to it? Like I knew that my left hand was my receiving hand, but it never occurred to me to put the crystal in my left hand and just hold it, because I often carry things with my dominant hand, right? So when I did, I just got this whoosh of energy. So something else they might get initially is just a whoosh of energy, or you may feel chills or warmth or cold, or that is a connection in and of itself. And it's not to be, disregarded, right? It is a connection. And then the more you connect with that crystal, the more you're likely to have some of those other experiences where you have feelings, or you see pictures, or you have knowings.
And that is, that rush of energy, that's information. It's not, I mean, if you feel a rush of energy, if you feel it in your body, you're more than likely clairsentient. You're more than likely able to feel, energy in your body. I'm not that clairsentient. I have stones that allow me to be.
That's cool. That's cool. It's
But
giving me chills. I don't know why. Okay, so you think
it's true?
I think, did I get this? I might have. I don't know. I pick up stones everywhere. It's kind of yellow.
It looks like calcite to me.
Calcite. Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to see it up close.
We'll have a conversation. Me and Mr. Stone will have a conversation later. Okay. I'm going to put it down because it's literally like, I don't know what it's doing to me, but it's doing something.
You do know this, but everybody else should know that the stones in your life are there for a purpose. They're there because they think they can fulfill their mission with you. The crystal consciousness and the stone itself and the energy around you are going to arrange things such that you are going to have stones that want to work with you. That's how the world works in the woo world. So it obviously has something it wants to say to you.
Yeah, right. Because I picked it up. I picked it up today, and I know I didn't buy this. I'm pretty sure I got this in New Mexico. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. It's interesting. So that's a great point that she brings up. When I wear a lot of stone jewelry. So today, Amethyst wanted to come, I never rarely wear this ring, but today it wanted me to wear it. Right. So, I just try to honor that, whatever, like turquoise wanted to be worn today. So I just try to honor that. I don't overthink it, but you can hold this and say, okay, what do you want to help me with today? Or do you have a message for me? You certainly can do that. Or you can just put it on and allow it to be involved in your life in the way it wants to.
Yeah. The hardest thing when you're working with spirit is trusting what you're getting. Right. And, the nods from spirit can be very subtle. And so, paying attention, observing, thinking to yourself, oh, I should wear a moonstone today, which is what I'm wearing today. It's also information. It's information coming from your stones. There is a reason why they want to be in your aura. It's because they want to help you do something.
Or maybe draw your attention to something. I'm getting as well.
Yeah, I think your turquoise just likes me. But
that's cool.
It's like talking. Yeah.
It's like, hey, how's it going?
Hey, hi, hiya.
It's like, oh, we're gonna hang out with Alison today. Where me? Okay, cool. That's very cool. Okay, you guys. So hopefully you guys understand a little bit more about Alison and about how she kind of comes at this very differently, not better or worse, just differently than other people that, use crystals or stones in their work. But the other thing I didn't mention is that Alison is a channel. She's a really amazing channel. She channels quite a bit of different entities and energies. And today, the reason we're doing this video is because some energies that she works with on the regular really wanted to get a message out to you guys regarding the energies in 2023. And like she says, she doesn't do predictions, right? Because we all have free will. It's so hard to do predictions. Everybody has free will, and that really changes the outcome of the prediction. So she's going to talk to us today about the prevalent energies. Maybe that's how you would phrase it. But let's see, and who are you going to be talking to today? Is there a particular energy that is coming through for this message?
So my guides have told me that my role in life is to speak for the stones. What we try to do is to teach people how to use or how to work with the energy that's around them. They're here. One of my stones connects me to ETs. When that stone comes up in readings, there is always an alien on the other end of the line. And so I had a connection request, a friend request from an alien who happens to be a group consciousness that is Andromedan. And they came to me and they asked me if they could provide information that was lighted, that was the kind that heals hearts and provides hope and sheds light. And so after, much checking on the connection and wanting to make sure that I was working with, lighted beings, we settled on monthly energy forecasts. So it is, we'll be talking to two, there's a lot more than that here. It's like Grand Central Station over here.
He's a lot busier than I am, you guys. I mean, I have a whole team of political spirit guides, but they kind of are very polite. And we have Mr. Murrow who kind of oversees everything. I don't know. Your place is like Grand Central Station. I don't know how you do it.
It's like I can feel all of them. They're all pretty excited to be here. So it's the Andromedans and also the gold consciousness. And yes, gold has a consciousness. The interesting thing about gold is that it is never separate from its overall gold consciousness. You don't have an individual personality in a piece of gold. And the reason why I find that really interesting is because when we first started talking about 2023, oh, they're here, they told me that 2023 was about oneness, about purity, about being in connection with each other. And gold really wanted to be there. And I thought that was fascinating. So I asked why, and they said, because that energy of oneness is the energy of gold. And that is also the energy of 2023.
Wow. Okay.
So that's who we're talking to today, is gold and the Andromedans. A few other people might make it. Yeah, a couple. I could think of at least one who really wants to show up. Okay, we'll try.
That's wonderful. Gold has been coming up a lot for me. It is the dominant color when I do any energy work. It is the dominant color that's coming up for me these days. So that's interesting. So go ahead and what would they like to tell us? We're all ears. We're happy to have the help.
I'm going to take a few seconds to connect, and then I'm going to let them talk. I'm here. I'm a conscious channel like you. You might be 60-40. I say I'm half in and half out. So I'm still here, but I'm just going to let them, put words and thoughts into my head, and then I will translate for you real time. Oh, Susan, we're so happy to be here. Thank you so much for giving Alison this opportunity to talk. You know that she's not been very comfortable doing videos, but we're really excited that she's here to do it. And yes, we can't wait to talk with you about 2023. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
All right. Can you tell us about the energy that we can expect from 2023? Susan is very fond of saying that we are ascending, and 2023 is here to show you that you are indeed raising in vibration. The energy of 2023 supports that ascension, that rise in your vibration. Some don't believe that right now because it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like you're rising in vibration because things are scary. There are lots of things out there, wars and, guns and politics and divisiveness. Yes, it's true, those things exist. And yet, we tell you truly, you are one. You have already chosen that those things will fall away. And those things, war, guns, polarity, divisiveness, those things are collapsing. They're collapsing into your shining energy, your shining vibration of oneness. That is what 2023 is to show you. The energy of 2023 supports friendship and collaboration and finding new ways of working with people that you don't know very well. It supports reaching across the aisle to people you don't agree with. And Susan, here we want to remind people of what you said before, that your Congress needs to have two oars. That you can't just get anywhere. You can't just go in circles if you only have one oar. You need both oars. You need different viewpoints. 2023 is to show you that different viewpoints are not just okay, they're really valuable. They're helpful. You can't move forward if you cannot see things from different perspectives. That is what the energy of 2023 supports, looking at things in a fresh way, looking at things in a different way, hearing the viewpoint of somebody you may not agree with, and starting to understand why they might think that way. When it comes to your Congress, finding ways to work with people that you don't agree with, because up until now, your Congress has really only been able to find solutions that benefit a subset of the population. There's a new sense that we are the government for all. We represent everyone. We need to find solutions that benefit everyone. And therefore, you may find free will obviously could change everything, but you may find that members of your Congress and members of different parties will be more willing, more open to reaching across the aisle and working on solutions that benefit everyone, because that's what democracy is about, is getting people into a room so they can talk about things and find solutions that benefit all. That's where 2023 is taking you, if you will let it. You have to make the choice to go with the flow, but if you will let it, 2023 will lead you into a new age of valuing each other's contributions, no matter how different they are.
That's really exciting. I mean, again, yes, I get the same message. I would just, since I'm not channeling and I can ask questions, this is fun.
Okay. Ask away.
I mean, this is like, I wonder, Alison, if I could ask them a question. If I can see that, right? Like I've gotten the same message, right? We have to row together, that we need to work together. But the Andromedans, I think that's who you're channeling, said that if we'll let it, right? I guess a question that I would have is, if it's not too human of a question, what is the energy? What is the overall, energy that this could happen? Is it likely energy? Is it unlikely energy? Because sometimes energy gets going on its own, and then humans don't really have that much to do to stop it, right? It's sort of going on its own, and then other times it's not so strong, and humans can easily direct it, misdirect it, or stop it. So I would just like to know, like, how strong is this energy of cooperation in 2023? Is it more than likely going to happen, or is it something that could be easily derailed?
First of all, when you ask a human question, know that you are us and we are you. You wouldn't be who you are without us. We're all human together. And it's very human and very natural to want to know the percentage likelihood, natural to want to know what's going to happen. Trying to decide how much to say here. That was Alison, by the way. Okay.
We know.
It looks different. March, something big is going to happen in March. This is Alison. Something's going to happen in March. I don't know what it is.
They do.
Talking about. No, we don't.
I'm telling you, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I finally get to ask somebody else the questions.
Watch.
Oh,
Watch for the energies to collapse. what's happening in this year? There's a lot. There is a change. There is a wind of change happening in your world. You have already chosen, you humans have already chosen that you're going to go in this way, in this direction of kindness and collaboration and valuing others' contributions. And yet there is a group, more than one group, countries, small groups of organizations that still are trying to make things happen for themselves and not for all of us. This is the difference: service to self, service to others. And so the question is, how long will we allow them to keep going? And because we've already chosen, because the energies have already amassed to the point where they are stronger, the energy of light is stronger than anything else. At this point, it is a matter of conflicting energies. So you've got the energy moving forward of progress and oneness and love and kindness and collaboration. And then you've got the other energy of greed and wanting to have as much money as possible and doing what's best for me and not with regard for anybody else. And those two energies have to come into resonance with each other. It is a song. Right now it's discordant. It doesn't sound good. You don't want to listen to it. It hurts your ears. Those two energies have to collapse and come into a symphony, if you will, a song, if you will. What you're noticing now, and in January, I think you'll notice it quite a lot, is strife and confusion because the energies are fighting with each other. Some things have to work through the system. Let's just call it in the first half of the year. Some things have to be worked out of the system. I think you're going to be finding some people on the national stage exiting and making room for people who are more willing to be open and to listen to each other. That's what we mean about this first 3 months of the year and something happening in March. We don't want to give away too much because much can happen based on your choices. You are in charge. But the energy has amassed to the point where it's more likely than not that you will not recognize the world that you are in on January 1, 2024. You will look back on 2023 and say, wow, I didn't know we could do all of that. I didn't know that was possible, but look where we are. Things are so much better now than they were a year ago. I think that's where you're going to be at the end of the year.
Yes, that answers the question perfectly. Thank you so much. So that, again, it makes sense with what I've been getting as well. And I think I'm not going to go too human into this, but I'm just going to say that there's going to be big changes on the world stage and in the United States power structure that's going to, like you said, create openings for these kind of kinder and gentler energies. And also this energy of, listen, like Biden says, I'm everybody's president. And he said that many times, right? I'm R's president, I'm D's president, red, blue, whatever, doesn't matter. That's fantastic. Do they have anything is there a message other than that they want to give us?
Except for you. They say, don't listen to the news. Get your news here. What they're saying to me is, it may look a little unsettling as the energies collapse into each other, as they resonate, as they come into resonance, come into harmony with each other. Things have to happen. Energy can't be destroyed. It can only be transmuted. And so for the energy to come into harmony, things have to leave and new frequencies have to come in. That can be unsettling. To the extent that you can, don't watch it. Don't buy into that. Your television news wants you to believe that the sky is falling. It's not. Don't buy into their need for ratings. So pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention to the small joys that are in your environment. Walking your dog, as Alison likes to do, or paying attention to the changes in the weather. I mean, it's okay to watch the news, but don't buy into it. There's so much more happening in your world than what your news programs are showing because they're concerned about their ratings. What else can people do? We would like to tell everyone to meditate, but we know that's not going to happen. But if you sat quietly and calmed your mind, it would open space within your mind. It would open space between your thoughts. And that creates the ability to see things differently. It creates a place for something new. So maybe make a New Year's resolution to spend 5 minutes a day simply breathing and being quiet. You could put on a mindfulness meditation. There are plenty of mindfulness meditations that Alison likes to do. 5 minutes a day would make an enormous difference in your outlook. It also would make an enormous difference in the world's energy. So that's probably one of the most valuable things you can do for your world, is to stop worrying and start just simply being appreciative of the sights, sounds, smells, feelings around you. For those who are interested in working with crystals, there are crystals that you can add to your meditations that can help you be more open, in tune with, and flow with the energies of the year. And here we would suggest moonstone. Moonstone is a wonderful stone for connection, for reception of energy, but also moonstone is connected to the lunar cycle. Moonstone, is all about being in tune with the natural cycles of your world, which is run by the moon. So try meditating with a piece of moonstone in your hand. Try putting it over your third eye as you lie down and take a nap, or lie down and do your short 5-minute mindfulness meditation. Moonstone would be a good one. I'm asking if they have any other stones that they'd like people to work with. Black onyx. Onyx is protective and also connects to spirit. Using onyx can help you be more in tune with your psychic self, with your spiritual self, with your intuitive self, whatever words you like to use. We tell you that you are hardwired for connecting to spirit, but sometimes it's hard for those who have a hard time muting the thoughts. Holding a piece of onyx can help attune your frequency to a different frequency that can help you connect to your spirit guides. But if you want to do one thing only that can help your world, it is to be grateful. Because gratitude and love are the highest vibration emotions you can experience. Release your tension. Be in gratitude for how beautiful your world really is. Your physical world is so exquisite. And you rush by, not seeing the green of a leaf or the shape of a snowflake. Simply notice and be in gratitude for it. And that shift in your energy will cause a shift in your world's energy. If everyone did that for a few minutes a day, imagine where you would be at the end of a year.
Beautiful. We'd be experiencing much more peace and love, I think, in general, worldwide.
One would hope.
Yeah, one would hope. Wow, that was beautiful. I love that. I love everything they said. I particularly, because I'm clairaudient too, so if you're not sure, that's psychic hearing. That song, Being Discordant, when you said that, or the Andromedans said that right now this music is discordant. It's not in resonance with each other. So if you think about hearing an orchestra warming up, everybody's playing their own instrument and it's all a cacophony, right? And we're going to be coming into this, in tune. We're going to be in tune with each other, which is such an interesting thing to say, right? Because vibrations, fantastic. I love that black onyx. It's interesting to me. I thought a person like you, and I know you, and I thought, oh, she's going to come up with like 5 stones. You know what I mean? It's going to be like a list. I'm ready to write them down. And you came up with moonstone and black onyx. Wow.
I just said rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite?
Rhodochrosite is a very beautiful pink stone, and it is a heart healer. Now, I have not memorized the purposes and missions of all the stones. I just let the stone tell me, or my guides tell me what to use. But it is a stone that I am frequently encouraged to put on my heart when I meditate with stones. And rhodochrosite vibrates with the frequency of love, but the particular flavor of that frequency is self-love. It's very difficult to love somebody else if you don't love yourself. Yes. And if you don't accept yourself, how can you accept someone else? If you don't look at your own flaws and go, that's okay. You're okay, Al. You're okay. It's hard to look at somebody else and go, you're okay. It's all good, right? We're just different. And so rhodochrosite encourages that, they're saying, that sense of knowing and being at peace with yourself allows you to be at peace with others.
So that might be a stone that we could use to sort of navigate the bumpy energy of the first half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's important to say that there's no stone that's going to fix you, right? Stone.
Come on, Alison.
Darn. No, stones are a support. Stones are frequency. So our bodies are, because we have emotions, our vibrations are all over the place. Stones have a consistent vibration, vibrates at a very consistent frequency. And what the stone does, because water has memory and your body is 70% water, stones entrain the water in your body to that vibration. So if you put a piece of rhodochrosite over your heart and you sit quietly with it, it starts to entrain your body and your own vibration to the vibration of self-love. That's all it does. You have to work with it. So you can't just pick up a stone and go, okay, this one's going to help me feel more open. You have to do the work. But I can tell you from experience that the work is pleasurable. The work is fun. It's a joy to sit quietly with a stone and ask the stone what it has to say to you. It's a joy to sit quietly with a piece of sunstone when you're feeling blue, and at the end of 15 minutes feel way better than you did before. Yeah. And
what are you holding in your hand?
I am holding a piece of pink kunzite.
Kunzite?
Kunzite, Kunzite. And it is the stone that helps me to connect to the Andromedans. This particular band of Andromedans, there's 2 that like working with me. This particular group of Andromedans, their energy is very soft and it's pink, right? It feels pink to me. this other band of Andromedans it's much stronger. And when I first, this group was the first group that I met with, and they gave me words that I could use as a name for them, which I don't ever use, but they gave me the word heals and light, which I thought was kind of lovely. And then a few months later, they brought along a second group of Andromedans. I'm like, how do I tell you apart? And they're like, that's a silly question. And then they started flipping back and forth between the vibrations. This is us. This is them. This is us. This is them.
Flashcards.
That's exactly right. And so, yeah, that they're also here, but they're like hanging out in the background. They're like kind of cheering everybody on. So yeah, so I can tell you for sure that when you start working with stones in this way, the sky's the limit, and you will be constantly surprised. It is a joy to learn about the way the stones work and the way they connect us to other consciousnesses.
Okay, so now I'm just going to ask one more question. I'm going to circle back to this. There has to be a specific reason that they pointed out two stones, that they pointed out black onyx and moonstone. Do they want to elaborate or give us any more information about that?
Consider the colors, Susan.
What was that first part? The colors?
Consider the colors of our stones,
colors.
Susan. Black and white.
Oh my God. All right.
There are other stones that we could have pointed out, but the difference between the colors of those two stones is so stark that your energy already recognizes. This is an energy of differences. They both are working toward the same thing, Susan. They're both working toward the same thing, connecting people with their spiritual selves and the greater energy at large, the energies that they can work with, connecting people to their higher selves. And yet they are black and white, which means something completely different in your world. This is a year where black and white will start to feel less stark. It will start to feel okay to look at somebody who is so different from you. It's a time when you can decide to look at people whose way of life is very different from yours, to look at people whose way of thinking is very different from yours, and accept that they are human and that they have goals and they love their children and they love their parents and they want good lives, and you have more in common than you are different. And that's why we chose those stones, because your energetic body recognized the message before we even gave it to you in words.
Fantastic. Yes, that is fantastic. I'm drawn to the yin and yang as well, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is marvelous. That is it. That's everything, in my opinion, right? That's what we're going through. And it is very hard for me to say that to find common ground, right? But I like the way they said, look, they have families, they love their kids, we do have more in common than we think we do. And I think that's kind of where what this year is going to be about, is sorting. It feels like sorting energy, you know what I mean? Just kind of putting things back in its order.
Yeah, I mean, recognizing that energy can be different, and just because it's different, it's not bad. The difference is looking for ways to grow together, looking for ways, and this is, they're putting these words in my mouth, looking for ways to accomplish things together, to have goals, even though our goal and France's goal and Russia's goal, those all might be very, very different, but looking for the goals and finding ways to win so that everybody wins, finding practices. And that's going to take some energy collapsing, bringing things into harmony. And that may be multiple years. And yet this is where it starts. This is where it starts right here in 2023. This is where we start to say, it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay for you to need this and you to need that and me to need this. And then we can all talk about it and find ways so that we can all get what we need without trashing somebody else. Okay, that was my word. Sorry, guys, trashing.
That was your translation.
Yes, my very poor translation.
No, not at all. And I feel like honoring, learning to honor. So that means, right, that Russia needs to honor Ukraine, but it also means that we honor each other, but we don't trash each other, right?
Yeah, I feel like, they want to say this, have compassion. Have compassion for those who have compassion for those who have been transgressed against. Have compassion for the aggressors. There's more going on than you know. They have needs. It's a stain. They're talking to me about this. It's a stain on Russia's soul. And yet the Russian people didn't choose this. They wouldn't choose this if they had the option. And so that is a piece of energy that needs to be resolved. There's a piece of energy here that's happening in such a way that the Russian people cannot get what they need. And what they need is very different from what the American people need or the Ukrainian people need. But it is a year in which conversations can be had about those different needs, and solutions can start to be defined that will accomplish those different needs, they're saying. But hold on to your compassion. Just because this is not going to be popular. Just because Russia has done this horrible thing, and it is horrible, it's horrible to watch, does not mean that the entire country is behind this effort. That there are good people, there are people who love, there are people who want harmony and peace. There are people who, oh dear. Sorry, I just heard there are people who are going to take matters into their own hands so that they can get harmony and peace. We don't do predictions over here. But it feels like there is a sense that a little healing light needs to be directed to the Russian people as well as to the Ukrainian people. And there are many other places in the world that could use a little healing light, But what they're saying to me in the background here is that you will watch as people begin to express what they need more, to be less willing to bend down to what a small group has to say, to be more willing to fight for what they want. And what they want is peace. What they want is to be valued for individuals. So here they're speaking specifically of the women in the Middle East. And watch for others to take up the mantle for them. So I think you're going to see a moment when it's not just women anymore in the Middle East, asking to be valued.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see, and we have seen, they're saying, movements around the world to support Ukraine and to help untangle this conflict. Sorry, I'm holding a big pendant in my hands too. This is what's gold. This is gold today. It's just a big honking gold pendant. The gold consciousness looks like this big gold man. It's very odd. He's been right here in my face the whole time. kind of like Mr. Thankfully, he doesn't smoke.
Oh, that is good. Does he look like Mr. Clean? You know what I mean? But in gold?
No, it's more like Hermes, like you
Oh,
would think of the
Hermes.
god Hermes. It's
Okay.
like he looks pretty spiffy. Um, he's not wearing gold cape, but it's definitely gold is the theme.
Nice.
Okay. Got anything else to say, guys? Pay attention. Your world is taking its first halting steps, halting, shaky into a new way of being. Short, small, half hidden. They're there. They're there if you pay attention. The only thing you have to do is support it with your energy by being light, by being grateful. And yes, by being open, by looking at the world and not calling people names, for example. By looking at the world and recognizing that there's so much more gray than there is black and white. If you can do that, you can make your world a much better place.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
They're such lovely people to work with.
And to the Andromedans. Yes, thank you so much. I want to watch this video again just to get all the little snippets of good information that you gave us. There's so much good here to unpack and so much interesting information and nuanced information as well. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And they're so grateful to have been given the chance to actually speak to more people. They have been telling me to talk to more people for a long time. I blog and I do pass along the messages that they give me, but I haven't done a lot of video. So I've got a little cheering section going on back here.
That's how it starts. Alison has a great website, thestonespirit.com, and her blog really should not be missed. It's really good. It's really quick to read, but it's super informative and it's always unique. It's just really interesting. I just enjoy your blog so much.
Thank you. It is focused on the energy around you. So it might not be to everybody's taste. We're not making predictions. We're not trying to figure out when the next earthquake is going to be. We're trying to help you understand how to work with the energy around you, colors around you, shapes around you, sacred geometry, petroglyphs, crop circles.
Dragons.
Dragons. Yes, the dragons are here. And of course, the energy for the month. So we do an energy forecast every month to help people understand what the energy of the month supports. And then it's your decision whether you want to work with it or not.
It's data. It's information.
It is indeed.
Thank you so much, Alison. And Alison does readings. So if you're interested in getting a reading from her, you can go to her website. Again, that was thestonespirit.com. I highly recommend her. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. That was fascinating, Alison. I hope you'll do it again sometime.
I will. They're like, yes, she will.
Let us speak for her. Alison, be quiet. Yes, she will. You know, I can see them putting their hand over your mouth. Yes, she would like to. Yes, she would like to. Sign her up. Yeah, it happens like that. So that's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Alison. And thanks everybody for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Please leave your comments down below if you have any. And you can contact Alison directly through her website if you have a question for her as well. But if you'll leave your comments, if you have questions, I think Alison will pop in and out, right? And if she can answer your a few questions here and there. And other than that, hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alison. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Take really good care of yourselves.